Okay. At saka souvenir program. Kasi good afternoon. Let's start. Okay, thank you for group one. So that's lung cancer. So, okay, one of them more common lung cancers that we encounter. And of course, it's important to have interventions. Okay, next group, please. That is also a warning sign. Okay, the same matter is have to be present with your patient. One, ask about any delayed growth. Your child did. I know, but we will go back to that later. But your child is actually stunted, right? So any delayed growth would also give you a warning sign that hey, I might not just be considering, or I might just not be looking for functional constipation. Why? What could present with delayed growth or weight loss or poor weight gain and constipation? But it's one thing that you're ruling out. Why? What are you considering? Any blood mucus present to okay, present to or asking your patient mucus or blood. What else? Whether we consider it and constipation. Oh, that's alright. Again, guys, only to have here. Please switch your audio.
Good day, everyone. This is Group 3, and our topic is menstrual health and hygiene management. So, what's menstruation? Menstruation is a process in a woman of discharging blood and other materials from the lining of uterus at intervals from puberty until menopause, except during pregnancy. Menstrual health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity in relation to the menstrual cycle. Menstrual hygiene management or menstrual health and hygiene refers to access to menstrual hygiene products to absorb or collect the flow of blood during menstruation, privacy to change these materials, and access to facilities to dispose use menstrual management materials so as to prevent any kind of infections in reproductive and urinary tract. So, how is it a public health problem? On any given day, more than 300 million women worldwide are menstruating. In total, an estimated 500 million lack access to menstrual products and adequate facilities for menstrual hygiene management. In developing countries like India, to effectively manage their menstruation, girls and women are required access to water, sanitation, and hygiene facilities, affordable and appropriate menstrual hygiene materials, education about physiology of human female body, information on good practices, and a supportive environment where they can manage menstruation without any embarrassment or stigma. These lead to infections, prevention of infections, and protection of the mental well-being of young girls. Even when women have access to sanitation products and facilities, without the knowledge of menstrual hygiene management, they are prone to get infections. These improper practices include not changing sanitary pads frequently, improper use of tampons, unsafe disposal of used materials. These improper and unsafe practices may lead to bacteria that can cause local infection which travel up the vagina and enter the uterine cavity. It can also lead to skin irritation and toxic shock syndrome. The problem of menstrual health extends beyond affecting physically. Poor menstrual health and hygiene is exacerbating social and economic inequalities, negatively impacting their education, health, safety, and human development. There are many taboos worldwide in many countries, and women are still forced and oppressed to follow these myths and stigma. Some of the common myths are as they are not allowed to cook, that they are not allowed to go to school or even touch males, and they don't attend any religious functions, and they are forced to eat certain types of food.
These cultural practices and taboos have a big role in poor menstrual health and hygiene for generations now that is exacerbating our social and economical inequalities and that is negatively impacting our education, health, safety, and overall human development. There are many cultural beliefs and discriminatory social norms that put restrictions on menstruating women that deprive them of their rights and psychological well-being. Because of these misconceptions and stigmas, many women are reluctant to seek help when they suffer from health issues related to menstruation. Now, why do we face this problem? Adolescent girls often lack knowledge regarding reproductive health, including menstruation, which can be due to their social economical barriers in which they grow up. So, lack of awareness is one. Then there is period poverty. Many are not being able to afford period products on a regular basis. There's lack of access to adequate sanitation facilities, improper disposal management, and one of the most important factor, non-normalized conversations. So not being able to afford is an issue. Not having access to clean and sanitized products is an issue. Not being able to talk about it is an issue. And waste management is also an issue. Most women living in urban areas dispose their sanitary napkin in dustbin, which eventually piles up in landfills, whereas women in rural areas prefer to wash napkins and bury it in a pit. It is also highly dependent on whether it is being disposed at home or at workplace or school. Sanitary napkins are often flushed, left in the corners or other open areas. Actually, in sanitary napkins. Issues extends beyond just the personal hygiene to the environmental hazards.
Poor knowledge and understanding of the menstruation may lead to unsafe hygiene practice and can cause health problems. So, increasing individual knowledge of the menstruation is important, which includes understanding our own bodies, like menstruation is a normal process, eliminating all the negative options like menstruation is dirty or shameful, proper ways of dealing menstruation, and educating proper waste disposal. Many people consider menstruation a source of embarrassment, and the last thing they want to do is talk about it. Men do not experience it, and the way they view it as something foreign. Since men are the usually ones in a society that make society rules, they think that something is unclear or unsanitary, which can cause others to think the same way, and eventually it moves into becoming a large part of society. Menstruation is a normal biological function of the human body, and there is nothing to be ashamed of. So we should normalize conversation about the menstruation, period blood stains on the clothes, taking out sanitary napkin in the public, and premenstrual syndrome. And also skip using code names for the periods, help spreading awareness. and establish parent-friendly work and school policies. Increasing social awareness include debunking the myths and the taboos, normalizing talk about the menstruation, community awareness among the males to remove the negative attitude to stop shaming and bullying, arranging campaigns. Accessibility to menstrual products and the facilities include providing clean facilities and the space for the personal hygiene, providing clean water, making sanitary pads and the other products affordable and available to all, promoting eco-friendly reusable pads. Women during their menstruation should take these measures to avoid infection and other health related issues. These include changing sanitary pads every 6 to 8 hours, staying hydrated, avoiding food that can cause constipation, avoiding excess of medication for menstrual cramps.
Okay, quite a practical topic that you chose. Okay, menstrual hygiene, and there are a lot of cultural taboos associated with it. Okay, let's have the next group. What happened to group two?
They had some technical issues, doctor.
Okay, all right, that's okay. Are they ready? Okay, this is the group two.
Hello, doctor. We are from group 2 and our topic is mental health, panic attack, and stress. Introduction. Mental health determines how you think, feel, and act. Good mental health is when you feel positive about yourself and cope well with everyday pressures. If you experience issues dealing with everyday problems, it could be a sign of mental health problem and should be addressed immediately. Mental health awareness is an important social movement to both improve understanding and increase access to healthcare. Stress. What is stress? Stress can be defined as any type of change that causes physical, emotional, or psychological strain. Stress is your body's response to anything that requires attention or action. Signs and symptoms of stress: difficulty breathing, blurred eyesight or sore eyes, sleep problems, fatigue, muscle aches and headaches, chest pains and high blood pressure, indigestion or heartburn. Causes of stress: job insecurity, high performance demand, bad boss, workplace culture, personal or family problems, technology. Management of stress. You can't avoid stress, but you can stop it from becoming overwhelming by practicing some daily strategies. Exercise when you feel symptoms of stress coming on. Even a short walk can boost your mood. At the end of each day, take a moment to think about what you've accomplished, not what you didn't get done. Take good care of your body each day. Stay positive and practice gratitude, acknowledging the good parts of your day or life. Accept that you can't control everything. Find ways to let go of worry about situations you cannot change. Learn to say no to additional responsibilities when you are too busy or stressed. Set goals for your day, week, and month. Consider talking to a therapist or your healthcare provider about your worries. Try relaxation activities such as meditation, yoga, tai chi, breathing exercises, and muscle relaxation. Public awareness. National Stress Awareness Day falls every year on the first Wednesday in November. Stress Awareness Day activities: do something creative, move your body, meditation and mindfulness, write it down, do something you enjoy, talk to someone, listen to music.
So now we'll start with panic disorder. So now let's start with panic disorder. What is a panic disorder? The definition says it is a brief period of distress, anxiety, or fear that begins suddenly and is accompanied by physical and or emotional symptoms. Signs and symptoms. Symptoms usually peak within 10 minutes. Panic attacks may occur in any anxiety distress. Most people within panic disorder anticipate and worry about another panic attack and avoid the places or situations where they have previously panicked. So, signs and symptoms. A panic attack involves this sudden onset of at least 4 out of 13 symptoms mentioned below. There are two types of symptoms, cognitive and somatic. Cognitive symptoms include fear of dying, fear of going crazy or of losing the control, feeling the unreality, strangeness, or detachment from the self. The somatic symptoms include chest pain or discomfort, dizziness or fainting, feeling of choking, flushes or chills, nausea or abdominal distress, numbness or tingling sensations, palpitation or accelerated heart rate, sensations of shortness of breath, sweating, trembling, or shaking. Causes of panic attack. It is not known what causes panic attack, but these factors may play a role. Genetics, major stress, temperament that is more sensitive to stress or prone to negative emotions, certain changes in way the part of your brain functions. For diagnosis, for pinpoint diagnosis, you may have to do a complete physical examination, blood tests to check your thyroid and other medical conditions, and tests on your heart such as EKG or ECG. A psychological evaluation to talk about your symptoms, fears, or concerns, stressful situations, relationship problems, situations you may be avoiding, and family history. Criteria of diagnosis of panic attack. You have frequent unexpected panic attacks. At least one of your attack is followed by 1 month or more of worry about having another panic attack. Continued fear of consequences of the attack, such as losing control, having a heart attack, or going crazy. Your panic attack are not caused by drugs or other some substances use or other medical condition, mental health conditions such as social phobia or obsessive compulsive disorder. Treatment. Treatment can help to reduce the intensity and frequency of the panic attacks and improve your function in daily life. Main treatment options are medications and psychotherapy. The medications include selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors SSRIs and serotonin non-epinephrine reuptake inhibitors SNRIs and also benzodiazepines. Public awareness. Mental health awareness is an important social movement to both improve understanding and increase access to healthcare. Some of the most effective ways to achieve this includes the following. Talk about mental health issues openly. Educate yourself, others, on the warning of signs and symptoms of the mental illness. Practice kindness and compassion. Take and share a free mental health screening. Participate or volunteer in awareness events. Thank you, doctor. This was the part from PMCH Group 2 on the topic mental illness. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Okay, I'll just process later. Can we have the fourth group? Let's have the fourth group.
Just a minute, doctor. I think they're having some technical issues.
Could you fix the sound? Could you fix sounds? Still there's no sound? Or
God, what the- I think
Nanad,
group. I
hello.
think
Group 4. When you're playing the video, there is an option share audio which is off. Turn it on. There's no issue on Zoom. Change the option when you start with your video.
okay, this is
Yeah. Doctor will proceed with group 5 for now.
okay.
Hello, we are group 5 with a topic that is LGBTQ awareness among the community. And to grow as a community, what is it like to grow as a community? To combat the discrimination of the members of the LGBTQ plus community face, their community face, we as a community need to understand and focus on educating the current and future generations, as well as cracking down on bullying against LGBTQ community and being understanding of individuals' sexual orientations, their sexual preferences, regardless of whether we agree with it or not. That is a huge key in acceptance, and we all deserve equality, we all deserve rights, and we all deserve to be accepted as humans. Here we have that 21% of the LGBTQ community says that bullying is the biggest problem at school and educational facilities, and 51% of LGBTQ communities employees are out of work. 40% are homeless teens, and 25% of the teens are rejected by their families. 22% are members living in nursing homes, and they feel that they can be open about their gender identity with the staffs and workers. So LGBTQ community is 1.5 times more likely to have social anxiety or depression with their heterosexual counterparts. So going to what type of discrimination plagues the LGBTQ plus community. Discrimination against the community include, but is not limited to, abuse that is both physical, verbal, and even emotional. Exclusion from social or professional events or activities. Ignoring claims of members of the LGBTQ communities regarding their physical or mental abuse or assaults that they have faced, and unfair treatment in the workplace by employers or coworkers. Indirect abuses such as graffiti or gossips and even catcalling. On getting educated, oftentimes it is because of a personal or social belief that cause members of the LGBTQ community to face constant physical and emotional attacks, and we are often told what we are supposed to believe, and we don't question what it is that we are told, what we are being told. We are brought up to be afraid of things that we don't understand, but how do we simply judge something without just learning and getting to know it? So here are some important information about the LGBTQ community that you may not know. Bringing change through education, many schools stepping forward to stop LGBT bullying dead in its tracks. The creation of Gay Straight Alliance, GSA clubs in schools are becoming more and more popular. The GSA groups consist of both straight and LGBT members, including both teachers and students, act as a support group for anyone who needs someone to talk to about their struggle. They promote inclusion in all aspects of schooling, both social and educational, as well as focusing on educating the masses that the LGBT community is different than the heterosexual community. We are all equals. Curriculum changes. Many schools worldwide are in the process of amending their curriculums to include LGBT topics for the first time. This is coming forward as a serious debate because many parents are against homosexuality for religious or personal reasons and feel that children should not be exposed to these topics. The backlash is of no surprise, as oftentimes older generations have a harder time adjusting to the change the way young minds do. Social education, there are loads of celebrities, both straight and LGBT, that are stepping out against discrimination against the LGBTQ community in hopes that they can influence their fans to educate themselves that being gay is okay. Here are a small selection of celebrities standing up for the LGBT community. Singer Lady Gaga. Singer Lady Gaga has started the Born This Way Foundation, which works to create a more accepting society for the LGBT community. Actor Josh Hutcherson. He teamed up with the Gay Straight Alliance Network to help end homophobia in school. Rapper Macklemore wrote a pro-equality song named Same Love that was played worldwide in hopes to promote equality among all people regardless of sexual orientation. Combat bullying. Anti-LGBT slurs have become a social norm.
Walk the hallways at any high school and you will hear someone calling something bad gay. This is unacceptable. We need a change. So, how do we combat bullying? There are many ways to stand against bullies of the LGBT community. So, these include inclusion. Simply look past their sexual orientation and include them in your daily activities. Speak up. If you are seeing someone being bullied or hear someone bad mouthing other person, stand up for them. Gay Straight Alliance. Join your local GSA network to stand with the LGBT community. Word choice. Realize that saying something is gay when you mean it, it is bad, is derogatory, and use an appropriate word. Being understanding. Homosexuality is not a choice. The way the heterosexuality is not a choice. It is your duty as a good human being to let people be who they truly are. My friend just came out to me. What do I do? Someone chose to be the first person they came out to. This is a good thing. It means you are likely a trustworthy and a close friend or family member. Here it is what you should and shouldn't do. Regardless of your initial thoughts or feelings, remember that just because someone identifies as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, for the most part, it doesn't change who they are or where and doesn't make them any less of a friend or family member. What is important is that you try your best to support them, even if you are unsure how you feel right now, and that you are willing to try and learn more about what their sexuality or gender identity means to the do's. Be appreciative. This is a huge deal for them. Thank them for opening up to you. Support them as they are fretting you will reject them. Be civil, whether you support it or not. Even if you do not support the idea, be understanding and positive. Do not belittle their honesty. Ask questions. Ask questions. Asking questions shows you are interested. Questions like who else knows and are you seeing someone will show your support. Offer your ears. The person will surely have things they would like to talk about and will be looking for someone to support them. Get information. There are many resources for you if you have questions or having any issues accepting the information they shared with
The don't. Don't go gossip around and tell other people unless given permission. It isn't your job to talk about your friends or anyone else's sexuality. Ignore the bullies. Don't be fake. And don't use old pronouns. If they come out as transgender, referring to someone who has come out as a man by using she is offensive. This may take a lot of getting used to, but they will notice that you're taking efforts. Religion says homosexuality is wrong. You are allowed to believe in whatever you feel like. We believe that each of us is made in God's image, beautiful and beloved, unique and whole. We work for the day when all are treated as equals in our families and communities. My religion says homosexuality is wrong, but I think I'm gay. Understand that people in your religion may not support your decision, but there is a massive reform happening throughout many belief systems that is coming in support of homosexuality in religion. Understand that it will take time for people to adjust to you coming out. If you need more information on your feelings or and your fears of coming out, the internet has many resources available to you. Acceptance. Remember that all that the LGBT community wants is to be accepted and treated right, and same as the heterosexual community. They do not want to feel excluded from their daily life, even if you agree with the sexual orientation or not. As a decent human being, it is a job to treat them right and everyone with respect. Who I am as a good person is to treat them right while interacting with them and making them feel as a part of the community. And they are no different than us. They are simply flesh and bone as we all are, and they are looking for is to be treated with respect and to live their lives as all we do. They are looking for equality, peace, and acceptance. It is everyone's right to live a long life free of discrimination.
Okay. I'm happy with the topic so far. So this one's LGBTQ. And number one cause of bullying. And that is why a lot of people of the LGBTQ community find it difficult to show their true selves. Okay. And we have to remember that despite their gender preferences, we have to respect them and they are productive members of society. Okay. In Indian religion, is it permitted? But then again, times are changing. If strictly Catholics, Roman Catholics, in the strictest sense, it's not allowed before. But of course, we adapt, okay, and learn to accept people for who they are and not the roles that they are stereotyped for them. Okay. Next group, please.
The world doesn't care enough about the pollution. We think of pollution as an environmental issue. We don't think it's a health issue. It kills 9 million premature deaths a year worldwide.
It's not been on the public radar because there's been lack of one understanding of just how endemic this problem is and how many people are impacted. It's been forgotten.
We need to make people aware. The pollution is damaging them and damaging their children. It may not be visible, but it's nevertheless very real. It's about to make huge loss for economic community, the vital human ability. That's why pollution should receive the attention and the fix that is deserved as a crush of human capacity.
Communicable diseases, chronic diseases that are all caused by pollution, learning disabilities, cancer, chronic lung disease take years to play out of the connection. We are all exposed, they are all at risk, but the effects are seen most heavily on the very young and on the poor.
Well, pollutants may also reach the groundwater, which might end up in our houses as contaminated water, which we use in our daily activities, including drinking. But here, the most crucial question is what causes water pollution? Well, water pollution can occur due to natural activities such as volcano eruptions, animal waste, algae bloom, and residue from storm and flood. The man-made causes are everyday sewage and garbage from cities are dumped into oceans, resulting in polluting the water tremendously. Other factors that can lead to water pollution are pollution from oil spills, fossil fuel combustion, and chemical fertilizers and pesticides used by farmers. And once someone consumes this polluted water, it can lead to disease such as hepatitis that can be fatal. Also, in many poor nations, there is always an outbreak of cholera and other infections due to contaminated water. Another major problem caused by water pollution is that it kills organisms that depend on water bodies. Fish, crabs, birds, and many other animals often wind up on beaches killed by pollutants in their habitat, and all these factors eventually damage the ecosystem, threatening life on Earth. So now we know the root cause of water pollution and the fact that it can make humans and animals so sick that it can be fatal. Now let's take a look at report from India. The pharmaceutical company has caused water pollution in 2016.
The many waterways that's being polluted by the pharmaceutical industry.
India is one of the largest exporters of generic drugs in the world, and the United States is its #1 customer. But manufacturing these drugs also results in hazardous waste. Here in Hyderabad, the epicenter of this boom, pharmaceutical pollution is dumped into the river endangering nearby communities. In a village downstream from the pharma capital, we met the sheriff of Abdulabad, who told us how the industry is contaminating the waterways.
So what is this foam over here?
అంటే నాచారం, జీడిమెట్ల, బాల్నగర్ హైదరాబాద్ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ నుంచే కాకుండా అదేవిధంగా పట్టంచెరు కెమికల్ వాటర్ రావడంతో ఈ విధంగా వచ్చినట్టుగా అయితే ఇట్లా ఈ రెడ్ సాయిల్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో ఇప్పుడు ఇదంతా కూడా చూసుకుంటూ వచ్చినట్టుగా అయితే ఇప్పుడు అగ్గిపుల్ల ముట్టించేసేసి ఇదంతా కూడా బర్న్ అవుతుంటుంది. వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఆ డ్రింకింగ్ వాటర్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో మేము చేసేది
Turned, people were suffering from one sickness or another, with no relief in sight.
How long has your son been sick?
4 years నుంచి ఇట్లా అవుతున్నాయి మేడం. అసలు చాలా నడవలేకపోతున్నాడు, స్కూల్ కూడా వెళ్ళలేకపోతున్నాడు. కొద్ది దూరం నడవేసరికి ఏదైనా తట్టుదా కింద పడిపోతాడు. అసలు సరిగా వీళ్ళతోటి ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది. అసలు ఎంత మందులు వాడినా కానీ తగ్గుతలేదు. అసలు వాటర్ తోటే ప్రాబ్లం వస్తుందని అనుకుంటున్నాం మేమైతే, కానీ తెలియదు ఇక వాటర్ ప్రాబ్లం ఉందని అనుకున్నాం.
And as this woman explained, they weren't getting any answers. Not even the doctors knew why people were getting sick. No matter how many medicines they took, nothing was working.
The impact that the pharmaceutical company has caused has led to disturbance of the ecosystem. Children are the building blocks of our society, and we should take care of them and acknowledge them. Spreading awareness and making changes will lead to great future to our coming generation and also our planet Earth. The most startling findings in the last several decades really has been the greater vulnerability of the developing fetus and young child exposed to toxic chemicals and pollutants. Brain development is a highly choreographed, tightly programmed process, and any misstep can have serious effects on child's ability to learn and contribute to the society. We really have a moral obligation to take the science that we have now and apply it as soon as possible. To prevent this from happening, we have to take great measures. Here are the following things to do. How to manage? First, do not dump in or around rivers. Dumping is one of the leading causes of water pollution. Second, clean and maintain septic systems properly. Septic tanks leak and human waste becomes exposed to groundwater. Third, follow all water laws and regulations. These laws are in place for a reason. Breaking them puts the water at risk. Fourth, dispose of chemicals properly. Never pour these substances in our storm drains since they all enter the water supply. Fifth, never pour cooking fats and oils down the sink. They clog up the sink and spread illness in the water. Clean up your yard properly. Organize a cleanup day and get people involved. Work to educate your friends and family about water pollution. Control measures for water pollution. The most effective method to control water pollution is to prevent or minimize the mixing of pollutants into water bodies. Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1972 was enacted by Government of India to control all types of water pollution. It cares for maintenance and restoration of water of all types, such as surface water and groundwater. Apart from legislation, each individual should take care of water quality and refrain from polluting water. Industries should treat their effluents before they dispose it into water bodies.
Okay, so that's water pollution for you. And serious, right? Drinking water, but you see, if you light it, it will light up in flames. And for sure, that's toxic products. And you have mentioned a lot of diseases would have would cause a lot of water would be diseases would be transmitted by water, and therefore education that we have to protect our water resources could not be emphasized enough. Okay, let's have the next group 6, please.
Dengue disease is a tropical and subtropical mosquito. Dengue disease is a tropical and subtropical mosquito-borne viral illness and is a major Dengue disease is a tropical and subtropical mosquito-borne viral illness and is a major health concern in the Philippines. The rising incidence of dengue disease may be related to a growing population, increasing urbanization, improvements in surveillance, and the limited success of vector control. Gaps in the epidemiological information available in the Philippines during the period of 2000 and 2011 include comprehensive national and regional data that describes the proportion of severe dengue diseases, including hospitalizations and mortality, and the incidence data per 1 lakh population. More comprehensive data are also needed for age serotype and seroprevalence on both national and regional levels. The data presented enable the observation of epidemiological characteristics both within and across years. Such assessments are essential at national and regional levels to improve the both preparedness and response activities relating to dengue disease outbreak.
Now let's have a look at how to prevent incidence of dengue. The dengue vaccine is only approved for use in children 9 to 16 years old with laboratory confirmed evidence of a previous dengue virus infection and living in the areas of United States where dengue is common. Insect repellents. Using Environmental Protection Agency registered insect repellents with one of the active ingredients below. DEET, picaridin, IR 3535, oil of lemon eucalyptus, paramethandiol, 2-andecanol. Wear long-sleeved shirts and long pants. Wearing long-sleeved shorts and long pants reduces the surface of skin exposed to the environment, making it much less likely to get mosquito bites. Prevent mosquitoes from entering home. Use screens on windows and doors. Repair holes in screens to keep mosquitoes outside. Remove standing water. Once a week, empty and scrub, turn over, cover, or throw out items that hold water such as tires, buckets, planters, toys, pools, bird baths, flower pots, or trash containers. Tightly cover water storage containers, which are buckets, cisterns, rain barrels, so mosquitoes cannot get inside to lay eggs. For containers without leaves, use wire mesh with holes smaller than an adult mosquito. Kill mosquito larvae outside home. Use larvicides to treat large bodies of water that will not be used for drinking and cannot be covered or dumped out. When using larvicides, always follow label instructions. Kill mosquitoes outside home. Use an outdoor adulticide to kill adult mosquitoes in areas where they rest.
Is it done? Group 6, is your report done?
Yes, ma'am, it's done.
Okay, so that's dengue and one of the preventable diseases because your vectors easily controlled would be dengue, and we have to remind everyone, come rainy season, you would have to prevent mosquito bites, make sure that there's no breeding ground for your mosquitoes, etc., etc. More so for India because it shares the same vector with your chikungunya, also transferred by mosquitoes, and thereby you have to practice the interventions done in dengue for other diseases as well. Okay, so good job. Next group, please. How many groups are we again? 20?
No, Doc, we are close to 39 to 40 groups.
39. Okay, we'll try to finish as many as we can till 5 o'clock, and then we'll resume next week. Okay?
Okay, doctor.
Group 7, please.
don't know that you can ask for more out of Cameron Payne. And he
Can the audio be improved? Can the audio be improved? It's not audible. Well, there's none. There's no audio. Can you fix it?
They're working on it, doctor.
Can we have group 8 first? We'll go back to group 7.
Okay, doctor.
It's always looks like their role playing seems nice, and they're the ones who did the video skit. I'm curious on what's that. Okay, let's go back to group 7. Let's have group 8.
Myself Harita, representing Group 8 on the topic Preserve Life, Prevent Situation Worsening and Promote Recovery. Prevention is better than cure. In our daily life, we come across many health related issues, not just internally but also externally. Everyone wishes to lead a healthy life, but not all know how to. Everyone should know the basic medical needs and importance to avoid such a situations where even for a minute injuries, people don't know what to do. So it's necessary for everyone to know the procedure for basic medical emergencies which almost everyone come across in their daily life.
Hand wash is the first basic step towards achieving any millennium goals for development as it saves life. Taking some hand wash liquid onto your hand, wash it with thoroughly, front, back, in between fingers, also the palm areas, also your nails. Rinse it with water and now dry your hands using a clean towel or any cloth nearby.
So the medical kit consists of the H2O2, which is called as hydrogen peroxide. It is an antiseptic agent which is used to clean the wounds when you bleed. It is used to clean the wound, and after that, with the help of we use this cotton swab. With this cotton swab, we help to stop the bleeding, and after that, we tie the bandage to prevent from further infection. So it's a proper manner. And after that, we also have this painkiller spray, which is used when you have the muscle pain, which is we consistently get from the back or hand pain if we lift any heavy objects. So it's like if we spray in that affected area, it reduces this pain. And we can also use this elastic band bandage, which is specifically used when you have this tendon tear or else tendon pain. We can use it within the ankle or else the hand, which is tightly placed in this affected area. After that, we also have the cough syrup, which is a common thing at your homes. If you have this mild cough symptoms, you can use this other than consulting the doctors. After that, you also have this specifically called this first aid band, like the primary. The first aid band is like it's also called first aid band because it's the basic to have this medical kit. If you have these minor lacerations such as minor cuts, such as paper cuts, also you're cutting vegetables, you have this cuts. It is an immediate way to stop the bleeding and also to prevent the infection. So it's like the mandatory of the medical kit. And also we have these tablets for if you have any symptoms of fever or else vomiting or stomach pain, diarrhea, constipation, you can use this variety of medicines which are the basic medicines to have at a place. And also we have the burnol. So this burnol is used when you're cooking, when you're near the flames, you have this accidental burn. So you can place it. The cream can be placed on the affected area, which reduces the pain as well as swelling as well as the redness. So these are the basic things to have in this medical kit. Bleeding may occur in different situations like while cutting vegetables, while nailing on wall, or if you fell down, etc. During those times, first rinse the cut or wound with water and apply pressure with sterile gauze, a bandage or a clean cloth. If blood soaks through bandage, put another bandage on top of first. When bleeding stops, cover the wound with a new clean bandage. If you catch any hot substance or if any hot liquids spill on your hands, legs or any part, then you should follow the first step. Immediately rinse that area with water. And if you still feel burning sensation, then apply some burner or any ice pack.
Now let's look into the situation when you come across any earthquake. During the earthquake, do not panic. Instead, follow the 3 steps. Drop, cover, hold on. Do not use cupboards during the earthquakes. Instead, drop down on your hands and knees, cover your head and neck underneath a table or any desk. Hold on to your shelter until the shaking stops. If you're living in any buildings, then do not use the lift. Instead, use the steps and Get out of the building using the emergency exit in your apartments where you live. Now, go to the open areas and secure yourself. If you're in a car, please stop driving. Follow these simple steps and save your life. Now, let's look into dizziness. When you feel dizzy, first you should relax and then drink some water. During such situations, take more fluids, and lemon water is suggestible in such situations. Avoid alcohol or tobacco intake and rest yourself. Keep your body hydrated. Rest yourself until you feel normal. We may get wounded while playing or during sports. In such situation, first lift the patient and make him sit on the ground or any chair relaxed. Now clean the wound with water and cover it up with a bandage so that it does not get infected further. If you feel any sprain, then using a painkiller spray it on the affected area and wrap it up with a bandage so that it gives a relief from the pain quickly. Carry the patient to the home and make him relax until he recovers completely.
The proverb health is wealth is indeed true, because without good health, our body won't be able to perform even a simple task. So, by choosing a healthy, good food, we can live longer and more fulfilling life. Helps to maintain good healthy body. So by consuming a balanced diet that consists of essential nutrients such as vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, liquids, and also we should eat fresh fruits like salads, leafy vegetables, egg, yogurt, etc. on time for a better health. So we should eat fresh fruits and also well washed and well cooked fruits free from dust and flies. We should avoid roadside food and the food that contains excess fat. Also, we have to avoid. So, good health is an actual necessity of happy life and the greatest gift from the nature.
He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. A healthy outside starts from the inside. It is the health that is a real wealth and not pieces of gold and silver. Along with eating right and being active, real health includes getting enough sleep, keeping mind and body fit, connecting socially, and more. Whenever you come across any medical situation, first be calm. Don't panic. And based on situation, react to the incident and do the first aid. And if you feel the situation is more worse, then take the patient to the hospital for further medical assistance if needed. Through this presentation, we would like to teach everyone the importance of health and know how to react to medical emergencies. It is necessary to have the medical kit, that is the first aid kit, in every individual's home, also in the public areas, public transports, so that it will save many lives. Finally, we would like to end this presentation by saying, preserve life, prevent situation worsening, promote recovery. Thank you.
Very simple. Things like hand washing, proper nutrition. They covered a vast area of topics, but they chose most important on what to focus on to prevent disease. Hand washing, how to properly hand wash, etc., etc. And see, you don't need to be very technical about your public health education. The simpler, the better, as long as you get your message across. And this is a good example. Okay, good job for Group 8. Let's have Group 9. Is the
topic today?
yes,
It's about
ready. Okay.
LGBTQIA plus community.
LGBT means?
I think it is something about sex. Good morning, class. Good morning, ma'am. So, what is today's topic?
LGBTQ.
Does anybody have any idea about what is LGBTQ community?
No.
So, before starting the presentation, I would like to share a personal story with you guys. In my college days, I had a friendship circle of 4 people. We were like a family there. Among us, there was a boy whose name was Akhil. He used to share everything with us, and he was also close with us rather than the boys in the class. When we got into the final year, he got a friend from junior batch. His name was Ritin. So, most of the time they were together, and gradually he started to get more close with him than us. One day I was sitting in the college garden.
Hey Ranja.
Hi.
Hey, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Actually, nothing.
What?
Actually, I am in love with a boy.
What?
I'm in love with Ritin.
With whom?
Ritin.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, Akhil, I want to go for a party
Please
now.
wait.
But
Wait.
we will talk about this later. I just left that matter. A few days later, I saw both of them hugging each other in an empty place. I informed this to my other friends and they were also shocked. Gradually, we started to avoid him. One day, he told all these things to his mom. Despite everyone's words, they both started to date. Friends, colleagues, students, family, community, everyone started to stare at them. So, the problem got worse in their families.
इसका आधा भी नहीं बनेगा वो क्या ठीक है गोल्ड वाला 10 ग्राम पता नहीं यार इससे भी आधा होगा
So, after that, we were So, let's go to our presentation.
Today is LGBTQIA+. It is an initialism that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender since the 1990s. It functions as an umbrella term for sexuality and gender identity. The acronym LGBTQIA stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, asexual, respectively. Sexual orientation describes a person's emotional and or physical attraction to people of the same gender and or a different gender and or both. Sexual identity is defined as the label that people adopt to signify to others who they are as a sexual being, particularly regarding sexual orientation. These communities generally celebrate pride, diversity, individuality, and sexuality. Importance of LGBTQIA community. Speak out against homophobia, transphobia, and anti-LGBTQA harassment and discrimination. Be supportive. Bring out people from depression and substance abuse. Provide awareness about sex among these people. Educate the people regarding various sexually transmitted diseases like HIV, AIDS, and aware them regarding various screening programs. The root of LGBTQIA+ discrimination are homophobia, heterosexism, heteronormativity. These people are facing so many discrimination in our society, like in schools, labor market, hospitals, and even in their own families also they face discriminations. They are singled out for physical attack, beaten, sexually assaulted, tortured, and killed. They are being bullied in schools, in workplaces. They are not getting enough aid from government. Disparities are prevalent among behavioral health, physical health, and access to care. Behavioral health includes mental health, substance abuse, and addiction. LGBTQ people are at high prevalence of suicide and suicidal thoughts, mood disorders and anxiety, eating disorders, alcohol and substance abuse, tobacco use. Their physical health is also at greater risk. Gay and bisexual men are more likely to have HIV or AIDS. Lesbian women and transgender individuals experience higher rates of obesity. Lesbian and bisexual women have higher rates of breast cancer, endometrial cancer, and transgender men and women are at greater risk. LGBTQ plus people have high rates of HPV infection and related cervical or anal cancers. Transgender women and men may be also at increased risk for cardiovascular diseases due to the side effects of hormones such as estrogen and testosterone they are taking as part of their surgery. These people have less access to health care they need, less likely to have health insurance, more likely to delay getting care, especially in older LGBTQ plus adults, more likely to report lack of cultural competence by healthcare providers, more likely to report poor quality of care and unfair treatment by healthcare providers. They should get more chances to get physically tested, like blood tests for cholesterol, triglyceride, and glucose levels, urine tests for glucose and protein levels, sexually transmitted infection screenings, hormone treatment monitoring, mammograms and pap smear, HPV screening, gynecological and anal exams, lung, prostate, testicular, and colon cancer screenings. What we can do as a society to help them: listen to LGBTQ youth and support them. Be a role model for kindness and inclusion. Make more awareness among the society about LGBTQA plus community. Establish various awareness programs for LGBTQA plus people regarding various sexually transmitted infections. Try to establish various screening programs, research and survey for them in order to bring out health and social issues. Most important, treat everyone equally. Is it necessary to protect them? Yes, it is very much necessary to protect them because the human rights of all persons are universal and indivisible. Everyone should enjoy the same fundamental human rights regardless of their sexual orientation and their gender identity and expression. Apart from that, it's important to educate those people about various health issues like AIDS, HIV, mental depression, eating disorders, etc. In my opinion, it is high time that we should change our mentality.
So now that's it. I think you are more clear about the topic now. So actually, now that we still we feel good about how we treated Akhil Moses. He was a good friend. Ma'am, are they still in a relationship? Yeah, actually they were. But 1 year ago, Akhil tested positive for HIV and he is in treatment now. As we saw a while ago, HIV and STD are the most common among this group of people. But the community is not ready to give awareness or educate such kind of people. After this incident, we started a center for LGBTQ community for helping and educating them. I can't express their mental depression. They suffered a lot. Through them, we go to know there are so many people like Akhil and Ritin. So yeah, true love is not about a sex. Apart from that, there should be care, mutual understanding, etc. It's a pure connection between two hearts. Gender is not even a factor there. So these people, these LGBTQ people, also have the right to love and they're also humans. Also, it's indeed to educate them right away for a better lifestyle. So treat everyone equally.
Okay, this focuses on okay, so this focuses on more on the emotional aspect, discrimination, that one LGBTQIA member would face. Okay, and it's not a simple thing to overcome, and that's why, again, like bullying, like the one that what the previous group focused on, this one discrimination, not it and it not and it's not ostracizing, but it's actually isolating, and those are just as bad. It's as bad as bullying or physically hurting, and sometimes it's even harder to accept that one avoids you just because you're part of the LGBTQIA community. Okay, tackled higher incidence of HIV. Yes, and same way, heterosexual practices. If you're not careful, you can also get HIV. Yes, more at risk. Just protect yourself if ever you do choose to involve in male-to-male intercourse. And it's important to educate other people with that. Gender preference is an individual's concern, but always protect yourself for your health and safety. Okay. Good job also. Again, I appreciate you making your own videos, etc., and not just lifting it from others. It's okay to lift other sources as long as you cite it. But making your own, it takes it to another level. That the video and the representation is something that you are the ones who did the presentation. All right, let's have the next group.
Excuse me, ma'am. We will share after the 10th group.
What?
We have some issues. We have some issues after 10th
Okay,
group. We'll share.
let's have the next. Let's have the next. They're having technical issues. Could you fix audio?
Voice రావట్లేదు.
Hello everyone, this is Mamata Rani Chennupalli. Welcome to our PMCH Public Health Awareness video. So our topic is about how mental illness leads to suicide and how to prevent it. So let's start the video.
Hi, this is Vijay Kumar. I have a question about mental health.
health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps us to deal with stress and make healthy choices. Mental health is very important at every stage of our life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood.
Hello, I'm Sheetal Kindikeri, and my question is, can mental health change over time?
Yes, Sheetal, mental health can change over time depending on many factors. When situations go beyond their abilities, their mental health can be impacted. For example, if someone is working for hours, facing financial stresses, etc.
Hi, this is Hari Priyanka. I have a question about mental health. How common are mental illness?
Hari Priyanka, mental illnesses are the most common health conditions in the world. More than 50% will be diagnosed with mental illness or mental disorder at some point in their lifetime. There is no single cause for mental illness. A number of factors can lead to mental disorders.
Hello, my name is Milan Bojani. My question is what are the type of mental disorder?
Milan, we can see some types of mental disorders like anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, phobias, schizophrenia, eating disorders, personality disorders, PTSD, etc.
This is Badam Reshma. I have a question about mental health. We are seeing more suicides in this world. Is it also due to mental illness?
Reshma, suicide is the second leading cause of death in young people. A major cause of suicide is mental illness, very commonly depression. People feeling suicidal are overwhelmed with painful emotions and sees death as the only way out, losing sight of the fact that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary state. Most people who try to kill themselves but little later, they are glad that they didn't die. Most people who die by suicide would have been helped. So let me tell you how depression leads to suicide. So we can identify the people who are in depression with some signs. So there are some signs of depression. Anyone who feels down most of the day, nearly weekly or monthly, can be clinically diagnosed as depressed. Depressed individuals may experience loss of pleasure in virtually all activities, feeling fatigue or lack of energy, frequent tearfulness, difficulty with concentration or memory, a change in sleep pattern with either too much sleep or little, an increase or decrease in appetite, with a corresponding change in weight, self-blame or hopelessness about the future. Finally, thoughts of suicide.
Hi, this is Mukesh Chintati. Now I had question about mental health. How to prevent mental illness and suicide?
Yes, Mukesh, we can help a person who is going to be depressed. Us may provide all the support they need in mild cases of depression. Having someone who is willing to listen and ask concerning questions can make a lot of difference. However, even the most caring and involved friends or family members may not be enough in severe cases of depression. In such cases, it is important to seek professional help. Mental health professionals who may be consulted include psychiatrists, clinical psychologists, and master level therapists. Some may first seek help from their general physicians or religious counselors. Each type of professional has their own perspective and expertise, and practitioners of all kind have experience dealing with depression. The important thing is seek professional help when symptoms are severe and long-standing. In fact, it is wise to seek help when symptoms are not severe to help prevent depression get worse. And we can prevent suicide also by identifying through some signs. There are some warning signs like being depressed or having other mental disorders, talking directly or indirectly about wanting to die or not to be around, increased social isolation, significant changes in appearance or hygiene, giving away valued possessions, making other preparations for death, a sudden change in mood. While anyone can be suicidal, there are certain risk factors that make suicide more likely. Previous suicide attempts, having a family member, a friend who recently killed themselves, multiple suicides in the community, other recent significant losses such as loss of relationships or job, cultural and religious beliefs supporting suicide, alcohol and drug abuse, feeling of hopelessness, and access to means of suicide like guns and quantity of pills, unwillingness to seek help, barriers to assessing mental health treatment. By identifying these symptoms in someone, we can prevent suicides. A sudden lift in spirits in a depressed person can be a warning sign that they are planning to kill themselves. Any level of suicidal thinking should be taken seriously. And we can try to prevent suicide at home, like listening to them and giving a solution to their problems and helping them to get out of that. When you feel the situations are not in your hand, you should definitely seek professional help. There are some hotlines to help the persons who are thinking about suicides and all. If you are feeling depressed, go and consult a psychologist or psychiatrist. This is not a wrong thing. Make a good decision and go to a doctor, and they will definitely help you. And you have to remember this, death is not correct solution for your problems or for your situation. Depression is like a locked room. You need a key to get out. That key could be your friend or family members or a doctor. Suicide is not the key to get out of the situation. Suicide is not the key to get out of the situation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This group used another technique, and that's the question and answer. So you raise a question and then you answer the question. And for some, that's an easier way to remember things and emphasize points, right? When studying, sometimes you use that technique as well. Okay, thank you. Group 9, review on mental health. Okay, let's have the next one. First, group 10 or group 11?
Group 10 is done, doctor.
Group 10, group 11? Group 11, please.
Hello everyone, myself Rutuja Mate from group 13. Today we are going to discuss about the topic AIDS, which is caused by HIV. Now moving on to what actually is AIDS and HIV. It is human immunodeficiency virus which attacks cells that help our body fight infection, making a person more vulnerable to other infections and diseases. It is spread by contact with certain body fluids of a person with HIV, most commonly during unprotected sex or through sharing injection drug equipments. If it is left untreated, HIV can lead to the disease AIDS. AIDS is a last stage of HIV infection that occurs when the body's immune system is badly damaged because of the virus. AIDS is also complex illness with a wide range of complications and symptoms, which are commonly seen are fevers, chills, rash, night sweats, sore throat, fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, mainly on the neck, mouth ulcers, joint pain, muscle aches, and pains. The symbol for AIDS is usually a red ribbon for solidarity with HIV positive people and those living the AIDS. Now moving on to how is AIDS transmitted. You can only get HIV by coming into direct contact with certain body fluids from a person with HIV who has detectable viral load. These fluids are blood, semen, and pre-seminal fluid, rectal fluids, vaginal fluids, and breast milk. For transmission to occur, the HIV in these fluids must get into the bloodstream of an HIV negative person through a mucous membrane, through open cuts or sores, or even by direct injections. Next, we will discuss how does HIV spread from person to person. HIV can only spread through specific activities. The most common ways are having vaginal or anal sex with someone who has HIV without using a condom the right way every time or taking medicines to prevent or treat HIV. Sharing injection drug equipments such as needles, syringes, or other drug injection equipment with someone who has HIV because these items may have blood in them and blood can carry HIV. Less common ways by which HIV spreads from person to person are an HIV positive person transmitting HIV to baby during pregnancy, birth, or breastfeeding. Being exposed to HIV through a needle stick or sharp injury, this is risk mainly for healthcare workers, but the risk is usually very low. What are the ways that we do not spread HIV? Those are by sharing dishes, by saliva, tears, sweat, shaking hands, sharing toilet seats, hugging, mosquitoes. Next, we will discuss how drugs can put us at risk for getting or transmitting HIV. As we all know, using drugs affects our brain, alters judgments, and lowers inhibition. When we are high, you may be more likely to make more poor decisions that put you at risk for getting or transmitting HIV, such as having sex without a condom, have a hard time using a condom the right way every time you have sex, have more sexual partners, or use other drugs. These behaviors can increase your risk of exposure to HIV and other sexually transmitted diseases. Or, even if you have HIV, they can increase the risk of spreading HIV to others. Some most commonly used substances and their links to HIV risks are alcohols, opioids, crack cocaine. How can we avoid passing the virus to others? HIV prevention is about more than just following rules. It's about knowing the risks and understanding how HIV is transmitted and not transmitted. It's about taking that extra step to educate yourself about both new and traditional forms of HIV. The known risks till date about HIV are that it spreads by intimate contact, PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylaxis. It is a prevention strategy in which a daily dose of HIV medications, usually known as antiretrovirals, can reduce your risk of getting HIV by as much as 99%. Third step is to get and stay undetectable. Fourth, use condom, conceive safely, avoid mother-to-child transmission, avoid sharing needles, prevent HIV after an exposure. Why HIV testing is important. Testing for HIV is the only way to know for sure if you have HIV. It's normal to feel worried about it, but testing for HIV can put your mind at ease and reduce the anxiety of not knowing. Many people do not have any symptoms, but can live for many years without knowing they have the virus. But being diagnosed early means you can start treatment, which will help you live a long and healthy life. These are the ways we can get our HIV testing done, which is rapid point of care, standard point of care, nucleic acid test, and at-home test kits. Where can we get HIV test? We can get tested for HIV and other sexually transmitted disease at our doctor's office, a community health clinic, the health department, or your local Planned Parenthood health center. We can either get an anonymous or confidential HIV test done, depending on the laws in the state that we live in. If you test positive, your results are sent to your local health department so they know the rates of HIV in your area, but your results are protected by privacy laws. Following are the 10 common myths and truths about HIV. HIV stigma. While stigma refers to an attitude or belief, discrimination is the behaviors that results from those attitudes or beliefs. HIV discrimination is the act of treating people living with HIV differently than those without HIV. Few examples of it are a healthcare professional refusing to provide healthcare or services to a person living with HIV, refusing casual contact with someone living with HIV, socially isolating a member of a community because they are positive, referring to people as HIVs or positives. Even though stigma is treated as a minor case when it's experienced, extreme cases of HIV stigma can negatively affect the body. HIV and other related issues can be difficult to talk about, especially when for fear a possibility of stigma. Ways to stop this stigma. It's about the perception and the view that people give to HIV that causes stigma on other person. Most of the people look at HIV as a killer disease, making it very difficult for HIV victims to interact openly with other people. It takes brave people to openly talk about their HIV status and embrace their conditions to easily overcome stigma. The effect of stigma on your health is worse than the fear that you may have to overcome it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So still an epidemic by itself is your AIDS, caused by your HIV. Now it's kind of better because there's prophylaxis, there's already treatment of this HIV.
సూపర్నల్ అటెండెన్స్ తీసుకుంటే అయిపోతుంది.
Again. Okay, so at least there's treatment, there's prevention, prophylaxis. However, stigma or discrimination still remains rampant. Okay, we must remember that there are successful people living with HIV, and we just have to remember how to prevent transmission. And it's not an airborne disease, but a lifestyle disease. And it's not more sometimes, and most of the time, it's not their fault that they get HIV. It's also a virus that they did not want to get. All right. So I think that's it for this afternoon. Let's continue next week for the other public health education. So far, so good. You've chosen topics that are very relevant and tried to answer them in a simple manner as to educate people not in the medical field about these conditions. Okay, so we'll see you next week for the continuation of this presentation. Okay, you may leave this call